Welcome to Carter's Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Magical Drop 3 for the Sega Saturn. Now, as you can see on the front cover there's a girl with a third eye, a guy wearing a headpiece, and a flying pig, among other eclectic characters. Now, does this game explain any of that? No, it doesn't. So, don't expect that. However, this game is a surprise because after two rock-solid puzzle games, how do you make a third one as good, if not better? And that is the surprise. So, I guess with that being said, here's more details. Do you know what a Zeebo is? I didn't. It was a console designed for those who live in countries that have little or no access to technology. It was sold in Brazil, India, China, and Mexico, among other places. So what's the importance of the Zeebo? Well, one of the games in its pretty limited library was Magical Drop 3, and boom, here we are. Back in 2013, I did a small and mostly ignored review on a game that already had quite a following and spawned 5 sequels, one of which is a mobile version. I just did the sequel not so long ago, and here we are with the third installment, and oh boy. Just when I thought you couldn't improve upon a game which was already rock solid to begin with, they did it with Magical Drop 2. Then when I thought, you couldn't possibly improve upon that, here we are with arguably the most popular game in the series. They pulled out all the stops and delivered on what I believe is not only an exciting game, but one of the best puzzle games on the console. It's up there with Super Puzzle Fighter, Bucku Bucku Animal, and Puzzle Bubble, aka Bust a Move. Let me tell you why. Straight out of the gate, we're given an anime intro which is pretty good. Then it leads into a menu which is pleasant to look at, sets the right environment, colour choice, and menu design. For those that are not familiar with Japanese, they do tell you in English what each option means, which I appreciate wholeheartedly. The options are pretty sparse, at least it looks nice, and it's not leaving anything absolutely integral out of the game. Most options are purely cosmetic, but still nice to have. The story has a cutesy presentation, for better or for worse, but once you're in game, the presentation is better than both the original and number 2, with far more exciting sprites and animations that really pop. Graphics in this series so far have been, at the very least, quite good. Really rock solid sorts of stuff, and this time they really just upped the ante, but in small ways that really make for a better overall experience. I said it before that I didn't think they could really enhance the graphics, and in one way, they haven't. It's more or less the same as Magical Drop 2, but on the other hand, it's the small details that really make it next level. Even though they released 2 more Magical Drop sequels after this, I played Magical Drop 5 on PC, and while the graphical fidelity is higher, it just can't capture the same feel or atmosphere of the game. Animation is seriously sharp, the details are really good, and the background has far more going on, almost to a fault, but it's exciting. While I was never excited with the music of either Magical Drop 1 or 2, this is far more upbeat stuff and almost panic-inducing. Much like when you play the underwater levels in Sonic and you're struggling to get a gap which gives off the bubbles so Sonic doesn't drown, and the music it plays throws you into a fit of hysterics. When your balloon things have mounted up and there's only a few more moves, the sound is really now more intense with each level the balloons drop. The sound effects are also really good and haven't really changed much since the last game. The change from the original to Magical Drop 2 was only a minor one, but looking back it became such an easier, faster, better way to play. Such a minor change had such a major impact on the game in a positive way. Well, this time there are several minor changes, where if you use the third button, you can grab rows of balloons and place them into their field, as well as being able to grab both the normal and special balloons, where in the previous game you could only match them, not grab them. There is also a frozen balloon which just clears when you match the right colour next to them. It might be worth noting too that during a versus match, my attacks don't necessarily get thrown over evenly to the enemies, and depending on which character you are, will determine on where they put the balloons. If I haven't sold you yet, the game not only comes with a challenge mode, but versus mode, puzzle mode, and adventure mode. The adventure mode works like Mario Party. Pretty much. You have a board you have to progress to the end, and every step along the way is a stop and a challenge of some sort. There were tiles I couldn't figure out what they meant, nor did the rolls of the dice really mean much. For the first run through, I didn't get anything higher than a 4 until I was 9/10 the way through. And sometimes the computer or I would roll, say, a 3, and it would move 4 spaces. There might be more defined rules in place if I understood Japanese. Would I recommend this game? Absolutely. Tight graphics, music that really emphasises the urgency with rock-solid gameplay, and more content than you can throw a stick at. Without playing Magical Drop 4, I feel confident in saying that this is perhaps the most definitive version in the series.